Hey everyone, this is Elias from RefMatch Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2025 Toyota 4Runner Trailhunter. Yeah, as you can see, it definitely looks like I hunted some trails. So let's go ahead and get started. We get started in front, and let's just say sit back because there is a lot to this 4Runner. So let's get started with that Everest color. It is so good. It's such an awesome green. It looks like a hunter green color. It has so much sparkle to it. It looks awesome. And yeah, with the little gold touches, it looks awesome. So we get that. Now, we'll take a look at the Snorkel later, but as far as the front end, we do have Trailhunter specialty badged headlights, which look awesome. These things look incredible. Love their design, nice and sleek, very powerful output. And that's because we have some help at the front as well. So the only thing is, it is a little on the trickier side to kind of get everything going because I haven't been able to figure it out. I don't think you can. But when you have the high beams on, we do have the option for the light bar. And let me just tell you, this thing lights up the road. So we were in some, rural roads, and it just shined away where normal headlights wouldn't do the work. Not just necessarily these, but others, you're having to have the high beams, and these guys were just illuminating the rest of the road as well. And we do have the fog lights as well. So these are the other option. These have to be turned on when you have, these will turn on when you have it in low beam mode. And what's cool about these rigid fog lights is they're dual colored. That is what you really need to cut through the fog. And we haven't had fog because it's just been scorching this summer, but yeah, the light output on them, even in just the white, is really nice. So love the fact that we get that lighting setup, because again, the main goal with this vehicle is you go to the dealership and then you go out to the trails. Not much really you need to do to this stuff. And yeah, lighting to me is very important because obviously you want to see where you're going at night. But yeah, we have that. Then we have the Toyota badge on the grill here, which looks awesome in this like bronze goldish color. Looks incredible. We do have the front facing camera, which is spectacular, especially with that trail mode camera setup where you are able to see not just the front, but the wheels. It just incorporates all the camera systems, and it's just a great package. Then we have the radar system there for adaptive cruise control, which honestly, I haven't used cruise control in a long time with vehicles as much as I have with this. The majority of the time I was actually using it, and I was also using the lane keep assist. It was great at curves. It was great at, even just keeping you straight in the middle as well. It wasn't doing anything weird. So loving this system. It just was incredible to use that, which I guess that's why I was using it so much this whole week. And then down here we have a silver body panel in the front, and then underneath we are going to have some protection. Now, really underneath there, we do get the tow hooks, which is kind of, yeah, the positioning down there is a little bit on the low side, because even for me in perfectly okay area, it's really difficult for me to reach down there to maybe hook up on there. So I would have maybe liked it a little bit higher. I don't know if we could have gone through here. It depends on where kind of the chassis hookup point is. But yeah, it's a little on the very low side of things. But yeah, that's what we get with this. Let's go ahead and take a look at this Snorkel. We take a look at the Snorkel, and this thing is awesome. I love the fact that we get this from a factory option. And if your areas aren't the cleanest, if your air isn't the cleanest or the driest, this is what you need, so that when the engine needs to pull in air, it pulls in clean, dry air. Love this thing. And Yes, we all saw on the internet that person that returned their Toyota that had a snorkel because the turbo was fluttering too much. Yeah, you kind of missed out on the point. It actually sounds really, really good. Now, as a driver, you don't hear it too much. As a passenger, you do hear it more. And yeah, I was cranking the tunes up a little bit, so you don't really hear it as much if you're enjoying those speakers. But regardless though, this thing is awesome to have as an option. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have under this iForce Max hood. We get under the hood and we have the 2.4 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder hybrid iForce Max engine, and it is cranking out 323 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, and that is going to the 8-speed auto and then to the Toyota 4x4 system. Now, a couple of things with this. I found something just really interesting right now, and that is that the non-Trailhunter iForce Max cranks out 326 compared to the 323 of this. I don't know why that is the case. I would say it's maybe the Snorkel, but those are usually crank numbers. Those aren't to the wheels. So I don't see how that would really change if we're measuring the power at the crank. Yeah, so I mean, it could be. I don't know how these were measured, but yeah, so we do lose 3 horsepower. But don't worry about it, because you gain so much more other awesome stuff with this. Now, yes, I'm gonna hear it. Oh, it's not the naturally aspirated V6, and I could care less if this can outperform. And guess what? It can. It feels way better than the V6 did. The V6 felt like it was hollow in power, in the sense of like, you heard it, but it didn't do much. This thing, from a stop, can get going, and from highway speeds can get going. So you have the range of power in this, because on the low end, the hybrid system is gonna get those wheels spinning, and on the mid-range, we get a combo of both. We get a little bit of the boost kind of starting to kick in, and then on the high end, we're getting the boost from the turbo. So I don't see, yes, a turbocharged engine, there's more components to it, there's more failure points. I get that, but it's Toyota. And let me just say, it performs well. Now, fuel economy is still age-old Toyota situation, where they do rate this at 23 miles combined, 23 city, and 24 highway. When I got it, it said 17 average on there. So there's a couple of things with that. Yes, this thing makes you want to go. It makes you want to get on it because it's fun. Now, I did give you a little bit of more tamed driving, and I got about 22 on there, so it's not too bad. But again, it didn't, that was because I was really behaving, watching everything. And yeah, if you're just driving, you're gonna wanna enjoy this. You're gonna be doing about that 17. The other thing with this is the eco mode. So you have eco mode, you have normal, and you have sport. Eco is bad. I'll just say that, because there's something weird that happens. And I was thinking, because obviously I want to consume as least possible fuel to give you guys some numbers and see how far we can push it if we behave. But with the eco mode on highway driving, if you floor it and it kind of wakes up, it does a weird shift in the engine. It jolts the engine, and I think it's more of like the transmission shifting or something. It just did something weird, and I thought, whoa, that's unexpected. And I said, let me try it in normal. Same speed, same, floor it all the way, and it significantly takes that out. It's a weird jolt that it feels like almost a motor mount is, like when a motor mount is bad, like that's the jolt that it had. So avoid the eco mode, keep it in normal, have fun in sport, take this off-road with the multi-terrain selects options, have fun with it. The transmission was great, other than, yeah, that little eco thing. The power delivery is spectacular to the rear when you want to get this sideways a little bit on trails, or when you want to put the power down and have way more control. Having it on all four wheels is awesome. So loving this setup. The other thing I noticed as well is this engine is really pushed back, and we get a lot of empty in the front, which is good for cooling. You know, if something were to happen as far as like impact as well, your radiator isn't going to be hit immediately. So you do kind of have that like safety buffer there, which I was kind of seeing. I was like, wow, that's actually kind of smart. So loving this. So let's take a look at those wheels and tires, because I'm really loving that. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have this beautiful 18-inch bronze wheel, and it is wrapped in the 265/70 Toyo tire, open country AT tire. Couple of things. Yes, this is bronze. Trust me. Look, you can see there. Yeah, I just got it a little bit dirty, but it looks good, clean or dirty. The color is beautiful. Love this bronze finish. Now, the tire complete size is a 33-inch setup, and it is really, really good. So, yeah, so the tires are actually, again, I was doing a lot of highway driving, and they were really quiet. And when you'll see we are on off-road area or the kind of unpaved area, it is really, really good at giving you the feedback that you want, providing the grip that you want. The other thing that's really kind of unusual that I saw this week is it's been really hot. As you can tell, it's scorching right now. And I've had other cars on my driveway in hotter temperatures, and I haven't had the imprint of the tire on my driveway like I have with these. So these, I feel like it's a soft compound for it to leave the mark on the driveway there. Now, yeah, with this being the Trailhunter, we do get the old Emu suspension setup. I do see the Trailhunter upper control arm there, which looks awesome. We have a sway bar disconnect option on this as well. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bite my tongue on my critique of the suspension, because I then discovered the better road to drive this on, and that is on bad roads. This thing excels on bad roads, on roads with gravel. Now, we have had smaller like bumps. It does not do well with those. So smoother to small little bumps, I was feeling it. Unpaved gravel roads, bumpy roads, when all the terrain is bad, it does really, really good. So yeah, just be aware that everyday driving, you may feel a little bit not the best, because it kind of translates weirdly to the chassis. And I think it's more because this is expecting you to have overlanding gear and load it up more, that you get that kind of, you know, stiffer suspension, so to speak. And it's kind of like pickup trucks that are like the 2500 or the 250s, like the heavy duties that are having to be stiffer because they're expected to be used for work. Yeah, it's expected for you to have some fun and find those trails. Now, the brakes are awesome as well. Great feedback. No issues with that. Pretty much to get it to this, that is the awesome setup. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have on the side. We get to the side, and this thing is awesome. I love that it's such an evolution from the previous gen. So we still have some of the great stuff that we loved, and just really made it better. So I really love this new side profile and this design. Now, we take a look at the front, and we do have kind of a great proportion to this. So it's not too long, but it's also not too of a snub nose. So we do have that. And we can see the approachability is really good, so that these 33-inch tire setups can grab onto the rock before your front end does. So love the way that these look, and yeah, I think it's a good size. Yes, I know you guys are gonna go bigger than 33, but again, the Trailhunter is, you go to the dealership, you take it out to the trails directly. You don't have to take it to the shop or anything like that. That's what this is for. So yeah, we have that big setup. And then we have this nice big fender flare that we get on both the front and the back to accommodate those larger wheels and tires. And the color, yes, this color is spectacular. Love the way that this looks, whether it's clean or dirty. Now, what's funny is that it is going to get dirty really easily. So besides, or before I went actually on that unpaved road and got everything dusty, this was actually looking pretty dirty with just a little bit of rain. So just be aware that you might have to clean it a little bit more than you would a millennial gray colored vehicle. But let's just say it's worth it. And then we have the mirrors here in black, and we have the camera system, which, like I said, has been incredible for things like you know, regular parking, or making sure that you are approaching things correctly if you're a one-man or two-person team for off-roading and adventure. So we have that. Then we have the nice Trailhunter badge there on the side. We have some protection down here, which doesn't really work too much as a step because obviously it's not going to kick out as much. But yeah, we want the protection, especially if we're going into literally uncharted territory. But we have that. And we also have the ARB roof rack, which is awesome. What I like about it is we're not hearing any noise or anything like that. Granted, there is no sunroof option in this. So yeah, I'll kind of give away that, which usually I'm not a sunroof person, but when you are out in adventures in a vehicle like this, it's sometimes nice to just open up even just the shade and see out into the world, so to speak. But yeah, we have that. Looks nice up there as well. Nice and sleek design with that. But yeah, that's kind of what we get with the side profile. We get to the back and we can see, yes, this thing is dirty. So just, this is what you should expect if you're taking it out on trails or, you know, dusty back roads, things like that. At the top, we can see we have a nice spoiler that is going to hide the windshield wiper or the rear wiper in there. And we can see how much it's going to go ahead and clean. Now, we do have a rear view camera system. So even if this thing is dirty, we do have the rear view camera. It was a little bit still on the dirty side. We do have the option as well, though, to clean the rear view camera on there. So it has its own little jet. So loving that. And even if you don't use the digital rear view mirror, just using it as an actual mirror, there is a ton of visibility back here. So it's very easy to just have that turned off and just use the regular mirror, which I like. I like having the option to do either one. But yeah, loving that. Now, yes, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the party trick that is having me wish to get this over the Land Cruiser. Yes, it's such a small little thing, but it makes a world of difference. Now with the Land Cruiser, we do have the option where we can open up just the rear glass, but this does it a little bit better, I think, at least, where you can actually roll down the rear glass. Now I'm not gonna roll it down all the way because we do have a little bit of some dust from our little fun drive. But that's the other great thing, is that you don't have to open it up all the way. You can just open it up just a tiny bit. And usually, you know, you have a pet sticking out, just saying hi to everyone. But yeah, I love the fact that, again, it is variable in how you can go ahead and open that up. Now, I love these taillights because they have such a cool design to them, where it almost looks like it's all black, but we have some slits of red coming through to give you the actual lighting for it. So love the way that that looks. And then we have the Trailhunter badge with the 4Runner badge, which, yeah, that one's in black. And then we have the iForce Max badge as well. We have towing capability down here on there. And then we have the spare at the bottom down there. But yeah, love this rear. So let's go ahead and see what we have inside. We open up the back by just pressing the button under here. It opens up, and let's just say there is a good amount of space in here. So yeah, we do have my bag. We do have some errands I have to run, which, yeah, this thing has made me want to just run errands nonstop because it's just that much fun to drive. Up here on the side, we do have some little storage compartments, which is nice to have there as well. We have little places to maybe tie down some items there. We do have the shade, which, let's see if I can do it with one hand, and yeah, you can. So we can block everything out, and it's not going to be an issue with having eyes on your things. So we have that. Now, the other awesome thing with the Trailhunter, we do get an air compressor. So this is a built-in air compressor that we have there to air up and air down the tires. So yeah, that's really cool to have that built in, and again, not have to worry about another piece of equipment to lug around and things like that. Then we get the JBL speaker, which is awesome. This system has been incredible. So we do have a kind of a small subwoofer back here, so to speak, or just an additional speaker, but it is really nice sound system. We come over here, and this is one of the things that I really like about this Trailhunter is the lights. So we have not just those lights, but we also have another set of lights. And let me tell you, at night, this thing was very well illuminated. And we have a nice 4Runner mat here. And we opened this up, which this is kind of, I think, the only thing that I'm a little about, is we have kind of this cover, but it's just poorly, just like, it doesn't have a latch. It doesn't have like anything, is just on there. And yeah, we have the compressor for the hose there. We have some just other parts. We have that little mat that we can put on here. So we have that little those like mat baskets. And when you open up, you also get the speaker system up here on the tailgate with additional lights. And yeah, that's really nice, again, to just have more lighting in wherever you are camping. And let's see, 4Runner forever. Yeah, I have the same sentiment, but that's what we get in the back of the 4Runner. We open up the door, and this thing is awesome. I love everything about this. One thing is, well, to start, is this color. It's like a gray-green color. It looks spectacular. Love the way that this looks. And with that like bronze color, or it's kind of like a yellow gold, yeah, it looks really good. Love the way that that looks. Now, functionality. Yes, we do have our armrest, which wasn't too bad for me to just lay my arm on. We do have 2 memory seats on here, and we do have the controls for windows. No issue there. We do have a nice little grip rubbery part here, which is nice. Small compartment, not the biggest, but you know, for little things. Phone is great in there, you know, wallet was great in there as well. And then we come down here. Now we have 3 water bottle holders, which let me just tell you, I'm needing that 3rd one right now because it's so hot. And then yeah, I just wish this area were a little bit more useful than just kind of having that there. We have the JBL speaker, which this system has just been phenomenal to just blast tunes and have some fun. So loving the fact that we have that. But that's what we get with the door. And then that's when I realized, when I opened up the door the other day, we got this. I was like, what is this thing? So I'm gonna go ahead, and the other thing it said remove, so I'm like, well, I will. And it's a little light. It's a little light, so let's see if we can kind of bring it in here. And yeah, we can see we have the light, we have different yeah, intensities, and we have the red. So yeah, pretty cool. And that's kind of what we get with that. But oh yeah, let me turn it off. There we go. And then you literally just put it back in. And yeah, that was pretty cool to have that right there at the door. We take a look at the seats, and these things are incredible. Again, we have that continuation of that like gray green color that looks so good, and with the stitching and piping in that yellow, I guess they're trying to simulate the bronze color that we get. But yeah, I'd say it's yellow more than anything, but it looks really good. We have the adjustability there. And let's just say these things are super comfortable. We have the heated option, we have the venting, and even though the venting isn't too much back here, let's just say down here I was refreshed. Yeah, there was a lot of venting happening from the bottom, which was nice to cool you down if you get where what I'm trying to say. But overall though, this design was really good. One thing I am going to notice though is, or I did notice, is we do kind of sit a little on the tall side. So we do have this kind of platform that goes up, and I wish it didn't, because I am you know, I am at 5'6", 5'7", and let me just say that we don't have a sunroof. That's the other thing. I was a little bit close to the top, so headroom space is a little bit on the limited side, so just kind of be aware of that. But yeah, that's kind of what we get with the seats. And then we get the Trailhunter specialty floor mats, which look awesome. I love the rubber mats that we get. Yeah, you can see that it's doing its job with that. They're not a little bit deep, so just kind of be aware if you spill a drink. Yeah, it's not too much of a lip on there, but they look cool. And they function great for like dust and stuff like that. Now, before I even get in, I do have to show you guys this panel on the left side, because it can get kind of obstructed or blocked when we close the door and we have the angle of the steering wheel as well. But there is a lot going on in here, and let's just kind of get started on the top. This is so good, and I feel like every vehicle or every, yeah, like off-roading vehicle should have this, because it's the headlight leveling system where you can, oh, I kind of messed it up. So I had it at like 2.5. That is my go-to for this. I feel like that is the good spot where it goes out, but not too far out in the sense of, you know, blinding the person in front of you. If you decide to lift it, you can regulate it to compensate for it. Yes, thank you. And then we have the brightness of the or the gauge cluster. We have your gas cap opener there, and we have auto high beams, traction control, your AC 120 volts, rear tailgate, and then we have aux buttons for auxiliary power. So yeah, those are nice to have. They feel really good as well. And then down here we have more lighting options there as well. We have the light bar. So this is where you're going to switch for the light bar. Let's see if we can get it. Yeah, so high beams, light bar, and we can see on off. Then low beam, we can do fog light. And what's cool about it is, when I mentioned we get the orange and we get the white, yeah, that's the option that we get with that. So it's pretty cool that we have that available as an option. We take a look at the steering wheel, and it's a little bland looking, but don't worry, it performs well. So it has a nice grip on the sides here. We do have a nice cutout where my hand fits beautifully there. We do get the dimpled material on the side, and we have the more, it's not going to be soft, it's going to be more on the rugged kind of textured like this. This looks better here, but yeah, that's kind of what you're going to get. And then again, the dimpled on the side. We do get these kind of cool like brushed aluminum finishes to the sides at the bottom, and then the airbag is going to be that textured or that more rugged texture there. On the left hand side, we have the controls for the gauge cluster, as well as some volume controls there, which I've liked that we have them separate down here, and that we have the next track option here. And then we have the cruise control options on the right side as well, which has been a great experience to drive this thing with cruise control, which usually I'm not a big cruise control person, because I like driving myself, but it's been really good system, keeping you in the lane. It hasn't been erratic for braking, for accelerating. It's just been spectacular. So if you are a big cruise control person, you will enjoy it in this. But yeah, that's kind of what you get with the steering wheel. We take a look at the gauge cluster, and this thing is awesome. I love the fact that we have an all digital display, and we do have a lot of customizing options with this. So, and then the other thing is we can save them in 3 settings. The problem, we only get 3 settings, and I love it. I love that we get the 3 settings, but I want more because there's just so many good options that you could do with this. So let's go ahead and we will move to the 3rd one, and we're gonna press and hold on OK. And I can show you on the left hand side, we have things like turbo gauge. We can put it blank, fuel economy, driving support, navigation, audio, drive info, trip info, tire pressures, traction monitor, pitch and roll, trailer brake, trailer mode, auxiliary gauges, engine trans. It's a lot, and that's there. And then obviously we have a little bit here, so driving support, that kind of stuff there. And then on the right hand side we have another option. So this is what I mean of like wanting more than 3, because I know in different scenarios, like if I'm towing, I'm gonna want to have just kind of like maybe the trans and oil temperature, and then have the the braking options here that we get somewhere. Again, there's just so many trailer brake information here. So, and then if I want to go into like eco mode and just really be cautious of my fuel consumption, just a lot. There's a lot to it, and it's great. I love the way that this is set up, and really big fan of it. We get over to the infotainment screen, and this thing is big, but kind of deceivingly big. So I'll let you know what I mean by that is my viewing area. So what I will tell you is you don't get too much. This windshield is not the biggest, so your viewing area isn't the largest. So anything that covers it, even if it's just that tiny little bit, I mean, not really, because it's still out of the way. Actually, this is more kind of my field of view. So anything that covers it will make it seem like it's even bigger. So just kind of be aware that front visibility is a little bit on the limited side. So mounting something to your windshield, like an iPhone mount, or an iPad mount for off-roading and mapping and that stuff, is going to be a significant hindrance because of your overall visibility. So that is the perception that you get when you have such a massive screen, is that it makes everything look even bigger. But the screen is nice. I like what we have here. As far as we have Apple CarPlay, I do love the fact that we are able to kind of go really full screen, or we can close it off a little bit and always have the Toyota menus ready to go. So if I want to go into my settings, I have that option there as well, and then just switch back. So it's always docked there. I love having it configured that way. This has been great. It sounds unbelievable. Yes, we do get the JBL portable speaker, which is awesome. I love these things. Majority, I want to say, of my speakers in my house are from JBL. So when I saw this, I was a really big fan of it. So yeah, we have that as the additional speaker we have up there. But this has been great. No issues with the sound and its functionality. Now we come down here and we do have the volume control right here, so it's pretty dead center. I love that we don't have it on the screen, because that would take away from the big screen of things. So loving that we have that there. And then we have the AC system, or the AC controls, and they've been great. I literally set it and forget it. We have the options for the seats. So right now we have the venting all the way because it is really hot in here, but I haven't had to really touch anything other than just turn it on and set it at my temperature, and I was good to go. We come a little bit lower and we have the wireless charger, which let me see if I can do the chuck test. And is it charging? I don't think it's gonna charge because, oh, I was wrong. So my chuck test is literally me chucking my phone into a wireless charger, and let's just say it works. Yeah, so we have that going there, no issues. It's been great. It has not have an issue with any heating or anything like that, like some other vehicles have when they have their options exposed. Then we have the USB, which I am loving this. We do get 245 options, and then combined we have a 52.5 watt option. So it can probably, it can power up some smaller computers, which is nice if you want to work on things, or at a minimum just give you enough power for it to not consume battery. So love the fact that we have there. And then we have just additional space here. We do have the 12-volt adapter on there, so we have more space there. And I just saw this, so I should tell my wife that it has a purse holder, or just like a bag holder on there. So that's a really nice little thing to have there. Then we come over to the shifter. Right now we're neutral, so I can show you guys that. But yeah, we have nice big shifter. Feels great as well on here. We do get a sport mode, so thankfully, let me see if I can, there we go. We have a sport mode, and let me tell you, the shifts, manual shifting is actually correct with this. I say correct because I've had other Toyotas, older generations, that didn't have the best of shifting gear selection in their manual offerings, in their automatic offerings. So we have the electronic parking brake, we have the park hold, which, yes, I've had to constantly be turning it on every single time that I get in the car, which is good, which is a good system. Not good that we have to constantly turn it on, which is the other frustrating thing, because it's a good system, so I want to always have it on. Then we come over to the I hate this configuration, but I love it because of what it does. So we do get a 2 high, 4 high, 4 low option in order to switch between them. So you do have to push down and turn to get that. Now we'll keep it in 2 high, and I'll tell you why. Because right now we have 4 different options. We have drive mode, MTS, tow haul, and the DAC crawl control here. So what I don't like is, so we have that selected and then we turn it. So yeah, we turn it and we get drive modes that are eco, normal, and sport. Now we have MTS, so that's multi-terrain select, and when I press it, I get this message. It says MTS unavailable, see owner's manual. I don't want to have to see the owner's manual to figure out why I can't see that, because it's not a malfunction. It's literally, you cannot use MTS if you're in the 2 high. So you can switch over to 4 high. It does the shifting of the drivetrain, and then when I press MTS, it is now available, which is the confusing thing of like, and I figured this out with the Tacoma that I first drove. I don't like it because now all these things could easily have been solved with switch to 4 high or 4 low. Literally, that message could have been avoided by just saying switch to 4 high or 4 low. So I want to say that's a poor design, but let me go ahead and, let me switch back to 4 high and switch to MTS, and we can see we have deep snow, we have mud, we have sand, we have dirt, and in the auto. So let's see, I think if we have 4 low, we get different options as well. So we'll switch to 4 low, and then we go to MTS, and we have auto, sand, mud, and rock. So those are the options we get with this. So yeah, really cool that we have all these options, but just poorly designed when it comes to how the functionality works, or just the reason the user interface, so to speak. But that's what we get. And then we have the trailer backup guide on here. We have the camera system. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cameras, and let's actually put it in drive. And yeah, these cameras are incredible. There is a lot to this. There is a lot of options down here. So we can have it do what we, just kind of had that as options. We can come over here and see all the different angles. This almost rivals the Land Rover stuff, which that I always praise as one of the best, if not the best systems. And then we have the front, we have the rear, we have the tires. Yeah, we have the tires there, which are great. and we have the rear tires. And I'm surprised this rear camera is actually not too bad. Other systems are really bad when it comes to rear tires, but not this case, so not too bad. And then obviously we have the guides that we can do with this. Yeah, we have to kind of turn things, that situation. But then we have the off-road system, which is really cool. Love the fact that we also get configurations as far as like how we want to see. So this is the rear tires and the rear cameras, or we can do the front tires. Actually, it's more of like all the tires really, because we can see, yeah, it goes down like that. And yeah, I'm mistaken, it is, yeah, it does all 4 tires there. And then we can do that, and we can see the underneath, basically the digital underneath option there. Yeah, it just, yeah, you have to kind of drive it a little bit if you've been in a specific spot. And then we have just kind of the rear big camera. We also get the tilt, and yeah, we have that on there. And we always get the option to clean the back. But yeah, that's kind of what we get with this. So love this camera system. It's nice and clear, and really gets you going to making sure that you are hitting the trails the way you want to. And then we get to the rear locker, which is the other thing that, again, if I press it, we get that. And that kind of gives you the impression that it's broken, but it's not. You have to put it in 4 low. So you have to put it in 4 low, and then you can go ahead and lock the rear diff, which is kind of not what you want, that you have to just kind of do all this stuff to get it, you know, to where it's, yeah, we're gonna lock. It's locked now, but the fact that it didn't just tell me, hey, go to 4 low to lock rear diff or something like that, would have been a better experience. And finally, we can disconnect the stabilizer bar or the sway bar, and that goes on, and you're good to go. You're really good to actually in this mode, 4 low, rear diff, stabilizer bar disconnected, and you're going to go on some really, really treacherous terrain. Then we come down and we have the cup holders, which this one's actually a little bit deeper than this one. So this one kind of raises up just slightly, but it's been good. Only thing is, yeah, just be aware is the armrest is not going to allow for bigger cups that kind of flare out at the top. And then we have the armrest, which has been comfortable. Love the material, love the finishes to them. And we open up and we have not that much of space, so just be aware that space is going to be limited in the armrest for that. But yeah, other than that, that's kind of what you get in the front. We get to the back and we can see we have that same treatment with that nice finish to there, and we have the rubber handle, we have the window, we have the JBL speaker, we have a cool cup holder there for your water bottles, and then we have a little bit of storage with the JBL subwoofer there. But yeah, that's what we get with the door. And then when we get in, we have these seats, which just, again, looks so nice. I love this color to it. And we have my kid's seat in there. He's been having a blast in this. He goes ahead and opens up the armrest, and we have the secret cup holders, which are just basic, nothing wow, but nothing bad about them either. So we have that there. And then we have his AC vents for the back. So he does not have a climate system to control back here, but he does get vents. We have 2 USB-C and the 12-volt adapter right there. So loving that. And then of course, for their dirty little feet, we have the mats, which unfortunately are kind of on the tiny side. They don't go over the transmission or the bump there in the middle. So yeah, they're kind of, yeah, not sure if I'm really impressed with the ones in the back here, but that's what you get in the back. So we take the 4Runner for a drive, and yeah, let's go for a drive. So a couple of things. Yeah, the drive modes, just keep it in normal. Keep it in normal. Don't bother with the eco. It's just, there's something happening with the eco with those hard shifts that are just almost feeling like the engine, like I said, the engine was, the motor mount was bad, or just something. It's just weird behavior. So just keep it in normal and enjoy it. And then obviously sport, and then the other multi-terrain select situations when you're having those other fun adventure times. Now, as far as drivability, yeah, it's the front suspension is, or at least what I feel, the front suspension is a little on the stiffer side. So just kind of be aware of that. I was hoping for a little bit more of a plush ride this week because, you know, you want some flexibility and things like that with off-roading, but that's not the case. And I'm assuming basically because this is being targeted towards the overlanding that you're going to be loading up the suspension with all the equipment. So I can see if this were more loaded up than just myself and a couple of bags in the back, then the suspension would have softened up. But let me just say, I don't care. I will allow it to just kind of get a pass at this because it really is a fun vehicle to drive. And I think that's really the only thing where this, I guess, isn't what I was expecting. I think that's what the case was. Does it feel like a 4Runner? Yes, it still feels like a body on frame vehicle. So again, it's not, don't expect a plush Lexus LX kind of ride to this. But it's not bad. Again, just be aware of it. And then again, like I said, with those quirks of the drive mode in eco, once I realized that was the case, put it in normal mode and I was ready to go. But this has been such a blast to really drive. And yes, it's the Trailhunter and I should be going out and hunting for trails, but I will, don't worry. But it's made me want to go hunt for anything to do to go drive this thing. So it's the I guess errand hunter because that's how awesome this has been to just, okay, let's go do this, let's go do that, let's go to a grocery store, let's go to this place, let's go do that. So it's been awesome. And yeah, I mean, it's just a really fun vehicle to have, and having all the other equipment with this gives you the peace of mind that if you go out on trails, you're gonna be pretty well equipped. So let's go ahead and switch this over to sport mode and sport transmission as well. So sport mode in the transmission, and we do have manual shifting, and it actually works. Yes, thank you, Toyota. Yeah, this is one of the biggest pet peeves with Toyota shifting in manual modes is that they don't really have a true manual mode. Like it would just be like Chevy's top limiting gear situation, but oh, and it holds the gear. So yeah, you definitely are holding it. Now the power delivery, this thing has been awesome. The power delivery has been incredible. Hey internet, don't come at me because, oh, you want the naturally aspirated, feel and response. Sure, if you want that, I'm gonna say it, but old V6 that just sounded airy. It just, I don't know. It was okay, but it just felt super airy. The throttle response wasn't too bad, but this is actually really good because you literally just, and it happens at any RPM. If I literally just mash it, it's instant. And that's because of the hybrid system. And then we also get the power of the turbo kicking in right after. So yeah, I don't know what you guys are really complaining about. It's probably because you haven't driven one of these. And yes, I know we have less cylinders. We have a 4-cylinder instead of a 6-cylinder, but it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And I think this does a really good job. Again, other than that eco mode, which I don't know, Toyota, you guys may need to reprogram it or something, but that normal mode, this sport mode is just, it's peppy. Yeah, it shifted really quick. It's like, okay, cool, you want to go? Oh, yeah, so it will definitely go. So let's go ahead and test the 3-point stop. So I'm gonna cheat, and I'm gonna, because of what we have, I'm gonna put a wheel down, and let's go ahead. Yes, I know, safety things. So we are going to down, and let's go back up. The throttle control in this is really good too. I do love that. The fact that we are able to whatever you put is what you get out of it, which is good. That's essentially what you want, especially in an off-roader, because you want to make sure that you don't give too much gas, but also that you have just the right amount for that. Now we've gone ahead and set up our race box. It's our telemetry box to let us know our 0 to 30, 0 to 60. It's also a drag timer as well as a lap timer. All in one device, really nice, great company to work with. So I'll go ahead and add my link in the description for a possible little discount. We've gone ahead and put it in sport. We have the transmission in the sport mode, and we are downshifting to first because it does give us the third, so we may have to shift on our own, and we are going to brake boost it a little bit. Oh, it's wanting to go, and go. Okay, so let's talk numbers. 0 to 30 in 2.59 seconds, and 0 to 60 in 8.8 seconds. Now, yeah, that's actually not too bad for the 0 to 30. I was expecting a little bit less because we do have some big tires we have to kind of spin. But yeah, as far as getting, once we kind of really even get it going, it will definitely go. So it's a really nice drive. And the feedback we get on the wheel is really good as to knowing what those front tires are doing. Now, one thing I gotta say is the hybrid. Yes, so we'll talk about the hybrid a little bit, and that is when the kind of starting and stopping, you are going to feel it in this vehicle. Usually, you know, with other vehicles from Lexus and Toyota, it's significantly smoother in just kind of integrating kind of the next, you know, turning it on and off. But with this, it does give you kind of a kick in the chassis. So I say in the chassis because it rattles the chassis a little bit. Not in the rattle is maybe too extreme. It does shake it a little bit, but it doesn't jolt it forward. Like I've had some other vehicles that have hybrid systems that do that. Yeah. So not in this case. In this case, it's just boom. It just kind of does one of those. So in stop and go traffic, don't worry, you're not going to have the issue where it's going to go ahead and, you know, give you that weird kick that you sometimes can get and jolting kind of forward. Now, of course, you didn't think I was just going to drive on streets. So luckily, we have some unpaved roads and some fun country roads. So let's go ahead and we are going to, oh, yeah, of course, multi-terrain select requires us to put in 4 high or 4 low, which you could have at least just told us, put it in 4 high or 4 low instead of giving us this look at the manual situation. So we go ahead and multi-terrain. We are going to do maybe, let's see what we get with, no, 4 low is definitely not going to be the way we need to go with this. So we are going to stay 4 high. And we are going to do dirt. Yeah, we'll do dirt. This, or you know what? Let's have the system do its thing. We will put it in auto. So let's go ahead and have some fun. Okay. Yeah, so my rear view camera is just completely dusted. Yeah, well, not dusted, but all it's showing me is all the dust that I'm throwing up with this thing, and it feels good. So yeah, when you're out on adventures and you're out on, you know, trails and things like this, and mind you, we haven't aired down. We didn't air down, which we can obviously with that built-in compressor. If I had forgotten my compressor, which I did because I didn't think I was gonna, do this, but yeah, it's so smooth. So we going from a smooth road to a gravel road, and no weird behaviors. The suspension works. I think it works really well in this terrain, and yeah, I think that was my problem. I wasn't taking it out on a trail, of course, right? So yeah, the suspension actually feels dialed in. I'm not feeling these bumps at all, which was weird because on paved roads, if there was a little bump, I was feeling it. So yeah, I think it's my fault for not knowing how to use the equipment. But yeah, this thing is so much fun. And that, again, that's the whole thing of this kind of toy. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it kind of scares you of like, great, I spent all this money. Do I want to go ahead and take this out? Yes, enjoy your money. Oh, and the brakes, yeah, get a little controlled power slide. The brakes are good. They are stopping me in a controlled manner so I can feel what the front tires are doing. Oh, a nice little slide, yeah. This is awesome. I love this thing. Yeah, I think I need to go get more groceries in this area, which there are no groceries in this area. But yeah, this is just a blast to drive. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Toyota 4Runner Trailhunter. And remember, find the right gear and find the right road. See ya. Ah!